Hello, my name is Shakhar Pelled. This is another video in the series on evolution as the basis of faith. Today we will continue with the discussion of the nation of Israel as a model of the humanity being. For the first time in the history of the cosmos, with the advent of the Jewish nation, in which the divine idea is the guiding force, the idea that humanity should rise above its limitations, and this becomes the guiding idea, the idea of perfection that lies beyond humanity. So in the Jewish nation, this is the very essence of revelation, as God is revealed to the humanity being and directly relates to the humanity being. It is here at the very source of the founding of the nation of Israel that we find Abraham, the father of the nation, taking the very responsibility of divine reality on his shoulders and demands justice in the name of the Father of justice, demands law in the name of divine law. This person, this man, our father Abraham, has merited the divine proclamation regarding the very unveiling of the divine secrets. And this is what it says in Genesis. And God said, "Will I conceal from Abraham what I am going to do?" Abraham is going to be a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the world will be blessed by him. For I have known Abraham so that he may command his sons and the families that will descend from him, so that they may preserve and maintain the way of God to do charity and justice. So that is the way of God, these ideals of charity and justice. And the reason that Abraham is chosen is that he has adopted or taken into himself these very ideas, so that God reveals himself to him. God justifies, or he gives us a reason for his openness, his disclosure to Abraham, by saying that Abraham will be a great and mighty nation, because he is destined to command that nation to preserve the way of God and do justice and charity. It is only there, out of this position, that Abraham can posit a moral claim towards God himself, and in this way towards all civilizations that precede the appearance of the humanity being. The civilization of Sodom corrupted the morality of its individuals out of the corruption of the civilization itself. The public was corrupt, and the corrupt public, the state, corrupted its members, its citizens. The Sodomite public in its entirety gathers around the house of Lot in order to torment his guests. And this is what it says in Genesis. The people of Sodom came around the house, from the youngest to the oldest, the entire nation, from side to side, from all of the nation, until you could not see the end of the crowd. The argument between Abraham and God relating to Sodom is not an argument that rests on individuals. It is not focused on individuals, but on the public, on the many. The city will be saved if there is a community of 50 people, then 40, then 30, then 20, then even 10 people who are just. A just public. And the minimum here for this public is 10 people. If there are 10 people, if there is a very, very small kernel of a humanity being, of a congregation of people that act together in justice and goodness, then may the city be saved. But less than 10, less than, in Hebrew, it is called a minyan. That is the 10. 10 is the minimum number of people that one needs to do many, many things in Judaism. Many, many of the deeds that are part of the daily behaviors of Judaism are require 10 men. Because less than 10 is no longer a public. And the fate of Sodom as a proto-humanity being, as a pre-humanity being, as a humanity being that is trying to appear but failing, the fate of Sodom was sealed because it did not have a just public, a righteous public. The individual, Lot, the just and righteous person of Sodom, to the extent that he was righteous, he is saved. But the great and evil civilizations, Sodom and Gomorrah, in regard to which we hear that the screams of the victims rose to the heavens, these evil civilizations are annihilated. When it becomes Moses' turn to speak with God, God reminds him of the revelation to the fathers and the fact that as individuals, as private people, they could not know the true name of God. This is what, when God is revealed to Moses, through which, and later to the Jewish people in their entirety as a humanity being, he reminds Moses that originally the fathers, the founding fathers, the patriarchs, did not know him in his true name. And this is what God says to Moses in Exodus. And God spoke to Moses and told him, I am God, and I have shown myself, I have revealed myself to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob in my name, the El Shaddai, the Lord Shaddai, and my name, God, the Tetragrammaton, I never revealed to them. The name of God, the name, the unutterable name, constituted by 4 letters. This name that should never be actualized, never be materialized, never be brought down to the level of mundane reality, must forever remain beyond human speech, beyond human reach, signifying by its very unutterability the perfection and the ultimate, infinite perfection of God, the ultimate ideals, this name was not known to individuals, because it cannot be known to individuals, because such a name is only worthy of the humanity being, of the multi-humanity, of the multi person. The humanity being alone is capable of facing God in his true name. This is a name that reveals that the past, the present, and the future are all integrated in one great and stable process, one great and stable movement towards perfection that never veers from its path and is in fact geared towards the future, where its very essence is revealed. And this is what God says to Moses. He says, "Thus you shall say to the sons of Israel, He who shall be has sent me." This God that was revealed to Abraham when he came to destroy Sodom is now the very God that is revealed to Moses when coming to extract the people of Israel from Egypt. And he says to Moses, "Tell the sons of Israel that I am God, and I will take you from the suffering of Egypt, and I will rescue you from their labor, and I will save you with a stretched hand and in great judgments, and I will take you to be my nation, and I will be your God, and you shall know that I am your God, who takes you from the suffering and the slavery of Egypt." So look at these words. I will take you out. Take one nation from another nation, Israel out of Egypt, and in fact create and give birth to a new being. Savior. He saves the people of Israel from slavery, from the terrible work, the labor, the back-breaking labor that depresses the spirit of humanity. Saving with a open arm and in great judgments. This revealed salvation will in future cast its light across all of history, and the call, "Let my people go," will become the motto of all the great nations as they cast off the yokes of other nations. And at last, God says, "I will take you to be my nation. You will be the ones who will recognize me as God, that you will know that I am the God that works, that acts within history and takes you out of slavery and leads you to freedom, from the slavery of one nation in the hands of another to the salvation and freedom of a nation that lives freely on its land." And we know how terrible and how historically common it was for one nation to oppress another and exploit another. And the people of Israel, the very essence and idea of their birth, their formation within the world as a nation within a nation, a new humanity being born from the womb of Egypt, born from the proto-humanity being that is Egypt, with all its oppressive, the oppression of the individuals by the many, and from there comes a new nation that etches and inscribes the idea of freedom in its very nature, its very being. We will continue with this in the next video.